Cardboard boxes are flying once again, and you know what that means. It's mystery box day, so let's crack this open and see what crazy random items I have to DIY with this round. You're watching Whiskey and Whit. My name is Whitney, and a huge welcome back to my Whiskey Craft Buddies who are here every week to DIY with me. I am so incredibly thankful for you guys, and if this is the first time we're meeting or you've seen some of my videos but you're not already a craft buddy, no worries. You can beat that FOMO, fear of missing out, and you can just hit subscribe down below, and then you will be notified every time I post a new video. Here is everyone that is participating in this round, and the mystery box challenge was all concepted, thought up, and run by Courtney, my friend over at Creative on the Cheap. She has such fun DIYs. I know so many of you that watch me also watch her, and that's awesome, but if you haven't seen her channel, be sure to head over there. So sometimes it's an all Dollar Tree box, but this round is an anything goes box. So you were supposed to grab 7 to 10 items, fill a box, and send it off to your person. Now, I packed up a box and sent it to Courtney. Cute evil laugh. She got me really good this summer with a box. It included all the things that I do not like. There was a creepy cow in there. If you missed it, I will link it up above. Well, she got brave and decided that I got to send her a box, and I had so much fun with it. I themed it out. You definitely want to go check out that video next to see the box, and let me know how you think I did with the theming and the challenge items. Hopefully I got a little revenge.
Okay. Oh no.
But that's enough about that. Let's get into this box. My box that I'm cracking open right now came to me from my friend Kelly Barlow over at Kelly Barlow Creations. I love Kelly. She comes up with so many fun projects, and she is just so fun to watch. So if you haven't watched her channel yet, be sure to check that out. And there's going to be 2 challenge items in here. I also have to work in red or green yarn plus a button into a DIY. So that is the twist. Whitney, I hope the contents of this mystery box brings you some fun inspiration. I can't wait to see the creative touch that you put on these items and what you come up with. I have no doubt that you will appreciate the challenge items that I sent you this time. I wonder if they're bells or Christmas lights, because I may have gotten a little ruthless with her last year. So sorry. So sorry, Kelly. This might be payback. Happy crafting, my DIY friend. And she also sent me a Starbucks gift card, which is so nice. Thank you. I will definitely be needing the caffeine, especially if you went a little hard on me with those challenge items. The first thing I'm seeing is some of this like tulle ribbon. Okay, it's got some snow. The last time I worked with this, all the little bits fell off, so it's kind of like glitter, so yay. Thank you, Kelly. Ooh, these are fun. A little pillar for a candle. We've got a little bulb ornament. These always make me think of Christmas Vacation. Got some rub-on transfers. Okay, these are fun. A little birdhouse. Okay, my hands are getting full. I gotta put it on the ground. Also have mushrooms. We've got some angels. Also have a little cutout Christmas tree scene. Wow, she filled this bad boy up to the brim. Wood. You guys know I love these. Wood sled. Wood house frame. Home houses. Little red fabric. Ribbons. Mary with the little deer head as the Y. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, that says 2, so I'll wait for the jingle. Let's open this first one. Not horrendous. Zip ties. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it might be, so zip ties for 1. And number 2, is it like a dog collar or something? I don't know. That's the vibe I'm thinking, but I honestly have no clue what this is. Oh. Plant hanger. That's what the jingling was. Not terrible. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna take a couple days, figure out what I need to do with these items, and I will get to work on ideas, meet you right back here, and we will get started crafting. Step 1, break out the containers of Christmas items and figure out what can go together. So I've got some different things from this year, last year. Let's see if we can put it all in a blender, mix it up, and have it not be a huge disaster. The first item I am grabbing from the box from Kelly is this bulb ornament, and it is plastic. I thought I could maybe try this faux mercury glass technique that I saw on the internet. Well, unfortunately, I think because it was plastic and not glass, it started out pretty, but it dried like this. That was a dud. So then I decided to add some gold metallic, just regular acrylic paint and swish it around. Well, the swoosh was not swooshing, and that also looked like trash. So I instead opted for some yellow chalk paint, and I did 3 coats on the outside of the bulb to get it fully covered, have it not be opaque, and it actually worked out great, so it was a happy accident. Then I grabbed the tool roll, and to get around those little flecks falling off in my house, I found a way around it. I cut some cardstock to the height of my tool, as well as to the size that would wrap all the way around the outside. I took some double-sided tape and applied it directly to the cardstock, which I got years ago from Hobby Lobby. It's just the 12 Days of Christmas sheet music. And then I'm just adding additional pieces of double-sided tape all around the outside. You want to give yourself enough of an overhang that it overlaps, so then that way you aren't seeing any of the tool. Then to finish this off, I'm taking some red velvet ribbon I got from the plus section at Dollar Tree, and I'm tying a lovely little bow, and then I am just going to trim the ends. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Whitney, where are you going with this? Let me show you. Once all those pieces are done, you're going to take that dried bulb ornament, slide it right in the top, and voila! We have a smaller version of those fun vintage blow mold displays. So I used the bulb ornament and that white snow tool to make a fun vintage throwback. I've had so many of you guys asking me for vintage inspired decor, and I think this one hits the mark. For project number 2, I'm grabbing the 4x6 house frame from Kelly and some scrapbook paper from my stash. When I found the other piece before, I found some other pieces, so I used some throughout this video because I've had it for years and I needed to use it. I popped out the mat from the frame and traced it right on these trees, cut it out, and then I had a new mat that was very seasonal. Now we're going to find some embellishments. So I grabbed the 3D craft kit and I used my tin snips from Amazon just to carefully trim it. And then I used some green folk art paint to make my trees just a beautiful green color. As I was painting, I realized I didn't like the nubs at the bottom, like it didn't go with the vibe I wanted. So easy enough, just beep, cut those off with the tin snips, and you can really edit these shapes to be what you want. Now, what's a picture frame without a picture? Well, I was in a bind and did not have time to run to the store to get one, so I broke out my Canon selfie printer that I've had for the past year, and I love this thing. It prints up to 4x6s. You can do photo strips, small pictures, and the best part I like about it is that it prints dry. So I can pick this up, it's not going to smear, and it's ready to go for DIYs. If you print a 4x6, the white strips are perforated, so you just pop them off like this, and then you can put it into whatever frame or DIY you need it for. I'm going to reassemble my frame, and then I'm just going to take my cute little trees and glue them to the front to add an additional layer of whimsy and fun to the frame. I did paint some of these white snowflakes, but I decided to just go with the green trees, and I like doing green trees, winter things to keep it up well past Christmas. This photo is from our annual trip to the Christmas train, and I can't wait to replace it with the picture from this year. All right, craft buddies, the next thing we are grabbing is this plant hanger, and this is a challenge item we're going to cross off the list right now. So as I was looking at this, I thought with a pair of tin snips, this would be easy to edit to what I wanted it to be, and I was so right. You can easily open up the little hooks, move the links around, do different lengths, and then you just clamp it back together. So I ended up just taking apart the 3 pieces and making it into 5 staggering pieces, and I just had to add the 2 additional like top hangers to that S hook at the top, which it had plenty of room. So I'm just opening the hooks, making them the right length, and then putting it onto the S hook. Now the black mat as it is wasn't fitting with the vibe I was going for this DIY, so I grabbed some Rub and Buff I had left over from my Pottery Barns dupe video, which I will link for you if you missed it up above and down below. And I'm just taking this on a foam brush and just dusting the top of all of these chains. This is going to make it look like some old vintage metal, and that is the goal we are going for here. I did one side laying flat, flipped it over, and then I grabbed these bells from my DIY pile from this year. I shared them in a recent haul, and I thought these would be perfect to hook to these chains to make a really fun vintage bell situation. Now I started with just Rub and Buff on the top to distress them. That didn't work. I tried a base coat of brown. That didn't work. And then I tried a light base coat of black, and this was perfect. I lightly brushed on the black acrylic paint, and then I dabbed it off quickly before it dried with a paper towel.
Then you can see the gold pop out from underneath, and once those were dry, I went with the rub and buff over the top, and these made them look like $1,000,000. So many places have bells out this year, but some of them don't match the kind of old vintage vibe I was going for, so you can easily make them over with rub and buff. Once everything was dry, I put all of my chains back on the S-hook, and then I just opened the bottoms of all of my chains so that I could hook the bell in and then close it. I love these so much. It is such a fun dollar store DIY. And if you want to make something similar but can't find the plant hook, you can easily make this with jute twine. No problem. Easy peasy. Challenge item checked off the list. This next one is for my son, Finn. I was so excited when I saw the sled because Finn's favorite book around Christmas time is called The Little Red Sleigh. It's about this little red sled that dreams of becoming Santa's sleigh. It's such a cute book if you've got littles in your life. You can scan this QR code to check it out on Amazon, or I will link it down below for you. But all I did was spray paint it red. I printed out an image of the front of the book and used double stick tape to stick it to the front of the sled. I tied some jute twine at the top to be the hanger, knotted it off, and this thing was good to go. Finn literally took this from when I did the stage shots and hasn't given it back since. I love commemorating his favorite things and ornaments, and he loves reading, so this was a win-win. All right, the time has come for this twist that Courtney gave us. So you see my red yarn there, and I started with this wood sign from Kelly. I took off the hanger, I made sure to get rid of the staples, and I painted the entire front white. Now, while that was drying, I grabbed my red yarn and I cut pieces that were about, I'd say like 11 or 12 inches long. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want to make sure that they are decent length because we're going to make a hat for this friendly little snowman we're going to make. I cut a piece about 1 inch wide of some cardstock that I just had sitting in my craft room, and I created these little loops to make a hat for Frosty. So you're going to fold your piece of yarn in half, put the loop under your cardstock, and then loop it around. You're going to continue that a few more times, actually a lot more times, but you just need it so that it goes across the piece of wood and wraps around the side. You don't have to have it go all the way around the head. Once you have the size that you need, you can easily flip it over and it looks just like a finished hat. All of those knots are going to be hidden, and I think it looks so cute. I measured to make sure that it was big enough to go across the front and around the sides. I thought it would be fun to add a kind of ripped piece of fabric to the hat, so I cut a little slit and just ripped it down. And then I grabbed these bows from Kelly and I thought I could deconstruct it and make it into a snowman scarf. I had to get rid of the staples, which were a little dangerous. I poked myself a few times, so don't do that if you're recreating this project. I got smart, grabbed the tin snips, and then I also had to peel off a lot of that cheap hot glue that Dollar Tree likes to use. Then it was time to stick on my hat so I could kind of work through the hat, then the face, then the scarf, and then his body or the buttons. I'm just using hot glue to apply the base of the hat all the way around to the back, and then I used a scrap piece of yarn to gather all the pieces at the top to create a fun little beanie stocking hat look. I tried to tie it with the fabric at first and it wasn't working. I used a scrap piece of yarn and then I used the fabric as more decorative than functional to hold the hat together. You can trim off any pieces because not all your pieces are going to sit exactly, and then you've got your hat. Then to paint the face, I started with just some red paint. I made some circles and then I buffed it in with my finger just so it looked almost like flushed cheeks instead of it being too bright. We're going to add a fun little orange carrot nose. And then with black, add 2 eyes as well as dots for the mouth. You can do big dots for the mouth, small dots. I just like to pull up a face that I like on Pinterest and go from that with a little bit of inspo instead of just winging it. I'm not the best at that. Then I tried to get fancy and it didn't work out in my favor. I tried to add just some little black flecks, but my paint just went out in globs, so I had to fix some of it. It was a happy accident with the nose here because it actually gave it a really good shading effect, but some of the other areas I had to cover up with a little bit more white paint because it just looked like a dirty snowman instead of a pretty white pristine one with a little bit of rustic flair. So you win some, you lose some. Then we're going to add our scarf. So this is our deconstructed bow, and I loved that the bottom piece was like that, so it just looked like the tie of the scarf. I'm going to take both of those pieces and loop them around the back so it looks like it's wrapped around our friend. And then I thought the scarf needed a little bit of something, so I added this little embellishment from Dollar Tree. I fixed some of those little black specks that weren't in the right spot for me. And then I had to add the buttons because, duh, that was part of this twist. 2 buttons at the bottom, check, check. check, check, check. Got all the things covered here. And this little snowman guy is so fun. Now, if you don't have this wood piece, this would be super cute with scrap wood, or you can even just do a picture frame. There's a lot of different options where you could do to add the hat, but I love him. I think it turned out so good, and the twist was accomplished. I loved the look of these little coffee cups in Dollar Tree, but I didn't get around to using them for fall, so I decided to make them into a little Christmas cup of cheer. I took some more of this scrapbook paper that I found when I was discovering the other ones earlier in this video, and I traced both of them, one on green, one on red, and I did the entire cup's size. Then I decided to do a layered technique to kind of create a coffee sleeve, you know, that cardboard piece that they put on there so you don't burn your hand off when you get the hot coffee. So I just traced the center part of the cup and then trimmed that out. I did this very fast and loose because you want it to look rustic, like you want to try a little bit. You don't want it to look like a kindergartner cut it, which sometimes my projects do. So you want to give it a little more effort than that, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm cutting this last piece just to really layer it up, and I laid it underneath just so I could get those grooves cut correctly, those slants on either side. And then I'm going to apply it all to my little cup piece with some double-sided tape. Now, if you're a paper crafter and you've got those fancy, like really thin glues, you could absolutely use that, but I don't do a lot of cards, so I don't have any of that in my craft room, so that's why I went with the double stick tape. Then I'm grabbing the rub-on transfer from Kelly, and one cup is going to say joy, and the other cup is going to say cheer. I had to figure out words that would fit in the real estate space I had on the cups, but I also had to make sure that because I only had one set of the rub-on transfers, I wasn't doing anything with a lot of vowels that I couldn't then spell the other word. Then I added a couple finishing touches, like a little bit of jute twine across the center. I hot glued on one of those little snowflakes. I just painted it white from Dollar Tree. And then I used black and white paint markers just to add a little bit of definition so it looked like the top of the cup and it wasn't just plain red. For the green one, my coffee cup sleeve was this really cute candy cane print, and then I wanted to cut off just the little reindeer so that I could create kind of a Rudolph roast, if you will. The first one was an absolute fail because I busted off the antler, and what is a reindeer with one antler? That's just sad. So I tried it again because I figured I had 5 of these, and
success.
Woohoo! I was so happy it only took me 2 tries. Then I sanded off any rough edges, painted it brown, and then I went through once the brown was dry and gave it a fun little red nose. This one, the finishing touches were some baker's twine, my Rudolph embellishment, and then I put cheer across the bottom. Then this one got finished off at the top by creating just a black little line so it looked like the lid. And voila, these would be so cute just for decorative purposes, but if you have these signs left over or you find some Christmas ones, how cute would it be to tuck a gift card in there and have this be the kind of gift card envelope? So fun. The time has come for the zip tie project, my other challenge item. So the first thing we're going to do for this, and you're going to want to stick with me because it's going to get crazy before it gets better, but trust me, it will get better, and it is one of my favorite DIYs I've made so far this year. You're going to take 15 zip ties, make sure they're all going the same way, and attach them to a pipe cleaner. You want something that is pliable so you can make it kind of look like a sun, and then once all 15 are on there, go through and cut these pieces at an angle. I did a short one and a longer one, short one, longer one, and all of the short ones had their diagonal going one way, all of the long ones had the diagonal going the other way. You're kind of going for a sun look. I trimmed off any excess and I measured it to this sign, but I actually ended up changing my mind and using a different sign, which you'll see in a second. I used some more of that rub and buff that I put on the bells earlier, and I just added it to all of the black pieces. I also tried some metallic paint on the back, but I do like the rub and buff better, but the metallic paint would work. For this mystery box last year, I actually painted this cross that Wendy from White Sparrow Living sent me, and I wanted one that actually was a sign versus a cross. So I started by creating 3 faces, Joseph, Mary, and baby Jesus. We're going to add some browns randomly, it doesn't have to be perfect, to the bottom to start to create the bottom floor of the stable where the manger is going to sit. Then I like to do it in a layering process, so I'm going to do the hair for Joseph and Mary in a lighter brown, and then I'm going to rough out where the manger needs to go. I like to do the manger in black because it pops off of the brown, but if you'd rather have a brown manger, you could totally do that too. Then with a little bit thicker of a brush, I'm just creating a rough shape for Joseph's kind of cloak. He also is going to have a hood on. And then I'm doing the same thing for Mary. Now don't worry if you go over some of the stuff you already painted. We're kind of doing a layering thing here, and if you're actually an artist, you're probably pulling your hair out because I'm doing it all wrong, but this works for me. I pick and choose kind of what comes next based on what is drying the fastest. So I did the outlines in black just to make everything pop. And then I also added some additional coloring to both of the outfits for Mary and Joseph just to give it some depth. Then I went through with white to do baby Jesus's kind of wrap, and I outlined that in black as well. I got a little too crazy, so I covered it with a little bit more white. Then it was time to grab some gold paint and create a large star up in the corner just because there was some negative space up there. And then I went through with gold and white dots to make it look like a starry night. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Whitney, where did the zip ties fit in? Right here. We're going to glue that contraption to the back starting in the center, and then you're going to create it kind of like a sun or a radial shape onto the back of that wood piece. This is just a wood canvas I got from Walmart, but you can get these at Dollar Tree as well. Any of the pieces that won't sit where they need to sit on their own, glue them down, and then when you flip it over, you're going to have this beautiful 3D look glowing out from the Holy Family. I am so happy with how this turned out. I saw it like this in my head, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And then I also took the candlestick from Kelly, added it behind the sign, and added one of my Pottery Barn dupe mercury glass votives. You light that, it glows. You could also put an LED candle. Who knew zip ties could look so beautiful?
That's going to do it for this latest installment of the Mystery Box Challenge. Be sure to head down to the comments and let me know which project was your favorite. And also, what would you have done with those challenge items? I love seeing how we can both look at the same item and I come up with something completely different than someone else. That's the beauty of DIYing. If this is your first time here or you haven't joined the Craft Buddies yet, be sure to do that before you leave. Hit subscribe so you won't miss a future video. Go enjoy the rest of the playlist. Courtney's video is up next for you, and I can't wait to hear what you think about the items I sent her. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!